For today's procedure, we will be exploring successional patterns in species diversity by examining plant diversity and abundance on different successional stages. We will meet, as always, at the Arboretum at 2 during your lab day. The procedure uses space-time substitution to look at the relationship between ecological succession and species diversity. For the procedure, you will work in pairs. Each pair will measure plant species, richness, and abundance from 3 quadrant samples. So at the site of disturbance, which is the dirt road, so placing your quadrant, which is the PVC piping on the road, and you're going to place it on the mowed edge next to disturbance, and you're going to place it right at the forest line. So the first one should be 0 distance. The second one, you should be measuring the distance from the middle of your first quadrant to the middle of your second quadrant, wherever you put it on the side of the road. And then the third sample, you put it 1 meter to 10 meters from the edge of the forest or mowed area, so not in the forest, but close to the forest line. And you're going to measure, again, the distance from your quadrant 1 to quadrant 3. Plants, species richness and abundance will be you'll be taking those values. You use a 0.25 meter squared quadrants to sample plant diversity along a successional gradient. So you don't need to know what they're called, you just need to label them. So if 2 plants look alike, that's species 1. If there's a different plant, species 2. You don't need to know what they are, you just need to know if they're the same thing or not. And you're going to take the total number of them and how many there are. So for things like grasses typically grow in clumps. So you're going to count clumps as one individual. You don't need to count every single blade of grass. Just follow the grass to the base and count the clumps. So you'll not necessarily have 15 species per quadrant. On your sheet, you'll be given 15 spaces, but you just put an X through anything that is not used. So for example, quadrant 1, where it's on the road, you'll likely not have species on the road. For morpho species, please read a description of the plant. This will enable you not to count it again and provide some natural insights to it and when analyzing your data. And count all individuals of the morpho species located in the plot and record the number of abundance column on the table. So we'll go outside to collect the data at the Arboretum. You'll work in partners to collect, enter, and analyze your data. You'll return to the lab to calculate diversity metrics, and you'll individually perform statistics and answer the questions on Top Hat worksheet. So again, meet at the Arboretum by the archery building, work in pairs, count the number of species, each species abundance in 3 quadrants, the road, mowed area, and secondary forest. For each quadrant, you should measure the distance from the edge of the road. Return to lab to calculate diversity metrics. You enter your data into an Excel and into a class data sheet. So we'll start by doing personal Excels with group members to calculate some metrics. And then once everybody calculates those metrics, we'll put them into a class Excel sheet. We all have to do this in class. Nobody can go home. So you'll put all that into the class Excel sheet. Once all that's in there, then we could go on to the SPSS calculations, and you can leave if you wish. Yes.